Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. I don't have my whole routine down yet because we got to turn this on. Ah, that's so much better. Okay, so well, anyways, we had a pretty big gap form on Sunday. Remember, Friday jobs numbers came out. It was really fucking bad, and we definitely got a move. But then that move came off. I think largely due to trade tensions easing and equity markets bought because interest rates are going to decline. They believe. Probably pretty likely that the Federal Reserve cuts now at this point. But I don't see the Federal Reserve cutting as a reason to buy stocks, at least not over a mid to long term. So, yeah, let's go to the chart here. You can see that gap. Big old gap. Now, the E-mini kind of closed it. Almost did. The Treasuries haven't even really tried. And here we're going for the open. I think that you're going to see here on the open, yep, buying. So already a little bit too far for me. But they are definitely going to try and make up that gap. Hey, good morning, everybody. Oh, so many people this morning. So many messages. John is back. Morning, Uzi. Good morning, Greg. It's a new name, I think. Orlowski. Greg Orlowski. Am I saying that right? What is that? What kind of a name is that? Is it like a Jewish name? I've never heard that name before. Is that a Japanese name? What? It's like that guy from Monsters Inc. The one-eyed monster guy. Sounds like that. Can't do that. Okay, so there's an iceberg at 27. Oh, it's Polish. Polish. Okay, cool. I think that no, I don't know. Whenever I'm talking to people, I'm always a little bit worried about like asking them where they're from because some people can be offended by that sort of a thing. But I think it's important to know, and be proud about where you're from and know where people are from. I think that your heritage is an important part of a person that everybody should be proud of, regardless of where it is. And it can tell you can learn interesting things from it. Mm-mm-mm. I mean, I'm really tempted to buy 27 here, but man, I don't know. That's an awfully big iceberg. So you're from Pennsylvania? That like how many generations back do you have to go until you get to family outside of the United States? Like my mom is from Canada, and then my grandpa on her side was from England. So when he was a kid, he would like start the propellers for the airplanes defending Britain from the Germans. So around that time, and then grandma was from the Netherlands. Her family, when she was a kid, immigrated to Canada. And then on my dad's side, I think that pretty much everybody has lived here in Utah for generations and generations, and then before that, England. Okay, so they were able to keep it down below that. Bleh. They were able to keep it down below that iceberg, and now 26 half goes bid. That's kind of what I was worried about. I think a little misclick there saved me from my own impulsive self. Okay, they're going to hit in 26 now too. It's very interesting the degree to which the buyers went for it. So there is clearly some interest in there, probably in closing the gap. We need a Kleenex here. I mean, I think this is a tough trade. What's Bromide say here? I don't really trade the ES, but I have trouble understanding why one would have been short Friday or today. Okay, so, oh, this is perfect because I don't understand why they would be up. CF mid profile ZB holding at the bottom. So there was a really big long zipper in ZB here at 17. They haven't quite touched that, but they're filling that area in. I'd say a decent hold at 26 so far. ZN ledge at 70. Oh, right. You're talking about the volume profile. So there is definitely a spot right here at 25.5, which is kind of exactly where I'm thinking maybe I want to take it. But if I take a long, we'll see. You know what? While we're thinking about it, I want to change some things here. Actually, no, I don't want to change some things. No, I do. I want to change here in my strategy manager. If I go to my 4 here, this one, oh, I do have it target ticks too. Okay. I did a lot of steadying on Friday. It actually stream died on me, and I just was like, okay, screw it. That's, we don't need to show any more of this boring stuff. But I did go through the spreadsheets, and I discovered, after doing a bunch of math, that I have no edge beyond 8 ticks. So if I get 8 ticks and I try and hold it, I usually don't get as much as the 8 ticks. So the conclusion that I made was that, at least over the last 6 months, and even if I took out the outliers from Friday, because, man, that was crazy. But even if I take out all that nonsense, so they didn't tick through 26, and we're back at 26.5, and they're looking like they're making that go bid pretty easily. But there was 3,300 on there. Well, we could potentially put that there. That just looks like they want to buy it. Anyways, so the conclusion that I made was that if I get +8, I should just always take it. And I have my stop limit at +6. And sometimes I move that. I think that I should only move that if I think that it's going to get to +8 and take it there. Because beyond that, it seems like I don't make. Now, anything else, like 4, 6, I actually have pretty good edge in terms of I make more than what it gets. Friday video was hard to watch. Many trades up good money. I understood going for the runners. Yeah. I mean, the thing is I've gotten runners in the past 6 months beyond 8 ticks, much further than 8 ticks. Actually, I had one that I had at least one that was 15. I don't think I got took the profit at 15, but I did get it to go to 15. I should always so my statistics say like there's a big drop off at 15. So if you get 15, you should take 15. Anyways, but my performance, it's 8. But the other thing that was even more shocking to me was I did it for every level. I said, well, so if I should always take it at 8, would I make more money if I always took it at 6 or at 4? And the answer was no. But if I always took it at 2, the answer was yes. So if I was to trade 2 contracts and always take a profit with one contract at +2, that would significantly improve my results. I think I might actually end up getting into this. Trump is going to be on CNBC. I don't know if I want to take a trade during that. What was the last thing that he tweeted? When will the failing New York Times admit that their front page story on the New Mexico deal at the border is a fraud and nothing more than a badly reported hit job on me, something that has been going on since the first day I announced for presidency? But yeah, I think that I got greedy on the first one. Should have taken 8. And then I think he got a little tilted after that. But the general takeaway I think is that for me, if the time frame and everything that I catch, if I catch +8, should probably take the profit. I guess the only time that I wouldn't take the profit is if at 8 it's really moving. You know? Hmm. So they barely even step back there. I'm kind of a little. If Donald Trump's going to be talking to CNBC, though, got to be careful about that. I mean, what he would tend to say would tend to move us down. Maybe the market just doesn't care, though. Clearly intended, though, to answer the questions on what the Mexico deal actually is, because it still seems a little amorphous to me. You know what I'm saying, guys? You get that same impression? It's like I don't see. Sounded like they needed to make big progress in order to avoid tariffs, and now it's kind of like, well, they're doing things that they've been saying they're going to do for a long time. I don't know, but apparently they have to vote on something. I don't quite understand what that is about. Everybody's reporting it now that they're going to be on CNBC. Well, I appreciate for those of you that watched my dumpster fire of a day on Friday and are still here. I make mistakes for sure. I think that day was, prompted me to go and do those statistics. I think that those statistics are going to be very helpful to me in the long run. Dumpster fires keep us warm. Well, I think I'm looking at it. I'm trying to look at it from a philosophical perspective. I think that um, the market gives you a gift, and you I don't think that you should be looking for a gift that is greater than what you can handle. And honestly, given that I got +8 3 times and didn't take the profit, could my ego truly handle a 15 tick winner in that situation? I don't. I don't think it would have been a positive thing for me. I certainly grew more out of having the +8. Now, of course, I would have grown a lot if I had made those and um, used the increase in my account or whatever. So it's not like the bad thing was only good, but it's been a long time since I've felt the feeling of you get too greedy because I've been so conservative. But now I think I know. I think I have that experience etched into my mind, and I next time that something like that happens, I'm definitely going to be sitting here thinking, this is like that one Friday where I embarrassed myself, you know? Well, let me put an order there. Cool. +8 is usually satisfactory for me. That's my normal target. I have back more than that, but 8 is the usual. Even on ZB? Yeah, I would say like the equivalent for +8 for me in ZB would be +16. I think that if you get +16 on in ZB and you're scalping, you should probably take it unless it's really moving. Just because at that point you're receiving more than average market action. Yeah, Uzi says, yeah, he gets what I'm saying. +8 is, man, I tell you what, when I was trading on, eh, um, when I was trading on ZB, I remember always thinking I should be able to get +8 here. Like I could have, this one could have been 8, and this one could have been 8, and I had a really hard time actually getting it. The algos have no idea what's about to hit. I agree. Well, actually, I mean the market is ranging, but it looks incredibly tight. Um, okay. Well, I got filled at 26 half, and I don't like the way that I got filled. I would have bought simply due to the market indicating it was almost time for a change in trend on the fundamentals side. If you're into contrary news positions, there's so much bearish news that you can cut it with a knife, probably. Should yak about this in equity indexes. Interesting. Huh. Okay, well, it went bid on us again. That's good. And a strong bid as well. We've been in this area for 3 hours. Well, we were down. I mean, I don't know. I'd say below 26 is where we were. It's quite intentional when it ticks up there to 27.5, isn't it? A little bit more pulled that time, too. I don't know, not a lot trading, though. It wasn't necessarily a ton to make it tick up either. See, the range is just between here and here, so if it stays within the range, I shouldn't expect more than one on this one, actually. Yeah. Okay, well, they're selling it, and it's actually iceberging now at 27. But there's still a Pretty big order. It actually stacked at 27 half. Okay, wow. They just blew that out. Were there big orders at 27 half? There was not actually a single big order at 27 half. There was a couple of smaller guys. One, two, three, four, five. Five different orders hit that out. That was pretty good take though. And some stops at 28. And it looks intentional. Now up here I think that I can get the 8. Let's just see. But it seems to me like it would be weird for them to go to 29 half and not go to 30 half. But I also seems to me like they might take a stop before then. There is a pivot at 28 half, so that might be a level that might be a little tough for them, or that might be profit taking at. And always at +4, I have to think about taking a profit. Moment of truth. Okay, so 28 goes offer again. I noticed a little bit of a pause as it did that. China is going to make a deal because they have to make a deal, is what Donald Trump says on CNBC. He's saying that the deal will work out. That's the big problem, though, is that um, the real reason that the market is where it is because of China. The whole Mexico thing was just a short 1 week affair, guys. Can homie bag his 8 ticks and be happy with it? If it gives me 8, then I'm definitely taking the profit. I'm not moving that beyond that. But I'm not sure if it's even going to get up to the 8. I don't know. It seems to me that somebody was definitely flipped it at 28. Although the 5-year did not pull back. The 10-year pulled back and the 5-year did not. That's very curious. Okay. The 5-year going to keep ticking through into it. Scalp 3 to 4 and come back at it. It's definitely 4 ticks as a place to. Okay, well, they're still getting stops at 29. So, um, although they already made 28 half go offer. Mm, the way this is moving though is pretty intentional. I think that they want to fill that gap. I think they want to fill that gap, guys. Hmm. I don't know. So there's 17 half. That's a new high in the 5-year. Um, if okay, it's actually a pretty significant new high too. So the 5-year is absolutely like they're gonna fill it. I mean, that move right there is I want to fill. Okay, 28 half goes offer again. I think that was probably enough to make me want to take it. The way that ticked down, and they all 3 did it. If I can actually get filled here. They're already selling 28. That 28 half is pulling. We're not getting many buy orders coming back in. It just looks like selling, profit taking sort of stuff. That's a pretty big iceberg at 28. Um, so I'm just sitting here thinking about it like, okay, if I get a fill, the thing that worries me in my mind is if I get the fill at 28 half and then they just go strong bid. Well, they didn't go strong bid that time. Cool. I hate that it gives me a number there when a little beep there when it does that. You guys probably can't hear or see that, but basically when it cancels my other order, it gives me a little number because I think that Jigsaw tries to cancel it and um, Rhythmic already has it canceled for you. Anyways, okay, well, it's a pretty big bid at 28 half now, so now they're saying it. But I think what I was gonna say was my logic there was, um, I did get a sell signal. When it ticked back down, that was a sell signal, and it's a Monday, so for me to get an 8 tick winner on a Monday would be pretty wild, pretty something else. But I think that that's a signal for me to take. I should not get to, you know, not on a Monday. On a Monday, I'm going to be taking plus fours. I'm lucky to get 4 on a Monday. From my standpoint, tariffs are a no-brainer. Okay, so 26 half to 28 half is what I took. If I get back in, it would be better to get 28 half or lower. If they could go to 27 half or something like that. Plus, the other thing is Donald Trump saying stuff, and you never know what he says that could take away what we just made. Okay, well, there's 28 half. There's an iceberg there. So if I hadn't taken the profit, I could maybe use that as justification to stay in. It would still be a little iffy. I'm kind of starting to get the feel, though, that they're going to go boop, boop, boop. It's kind of interesting that they're doing it while Donald Trump is speaking as well. But I think perhaps the reason that the Treasury market is tending to move up is because he's still speaking very highly of tariffs. There's an iceberg at 29 half. So that's another potential sell signal. Or take profit signal. I don't want to call it a sell signal, but a take profit signal. Okay, well, it goes bid. But nobody hits after it goes bid. Curious. Trump says China devalues its currency. Something has to be done. Ban them from buying treasuries? Trump says Fed is very disruptive. What the heck? He is going off the rails over there. I wish I had a good, legitimate CNBC feed we could listen to, because that's like, what? Disruptive is not the word that I would use to describe the Federal Reserve. That is not. Listen, Danny, I love you, but that's not a word that you want to use when describing the Federal Reserve if you're trying to give markets confidence. That kind of language is just going to make them think that you're crazy. Fed hasn't listened to him and has made a mistake. Well, that's probably true. I think so. What do you guys think? You're probably all still long, aren't you? Aren't you? Because you're all when you're all quiet, that usually means that you're in a good winning position, and you're too busy with your winning position to make it chat. Trump says, "Oh, okay, Zero Hedge is already just repeating what we just said." I don't know. It's a pretty good tick back and good trend up so far. It's giving us the slow train. Two ticks up, one tick back. Two ticks up, one tick back. Absorption all the whole way. Unclear cumulative delta. Well, ZB, it's all up because the spread is actually steepening as we do this. That's curious. The friend train, says Lucas. By the way, good morning, Lucas. Well, I'm kind of, now that there's an iceberg at 29.5, I'm like, I wish that I was still in this. It's probably too late to try and buy that. Oh, wait a second. Okay, he must have said something really something. Maybe I don't want to be in this. UN nuclear watchdog chief Amano says the pace of production of enriched uranium by Iran has increased, but declines to elaborate. It's a curious timing. Well, I suppose I could still be in. I mean, the way that that's ticking, I think he could still be in looking for the +8, but this is uh, starting to become a topsy-turvy market that it might be good to take what you can get and run. Okay, so there's 8. Should have held it. And actually wouldn't have filled this. Trump says if China's Xi does not go to G20, tariffs on Chinese imports will go into effect immediately. Come on, man. It's funny that he's just like on the warpath. It's funny because I said, well, what Donald Trump would say if he's trying to speak markets up would move us down, but he did not go on CNBC to speak markets up. He came on CNBC to talk tough to China. And it still wouldn't have gotten the fill at 30.5. I think you will. I think you will get the fill though. There you go. Now you're probably out. Nope, they're not even going to wait for a level break, are they? We're now in the no man's land of the. Okay. So I got filled on that. There wasn't a ton sitting on, the 21. 21 is not quite what I expected to see, and the 30 half went weak, so and Gabe says, so jobs report equals rate cut confirmation. That's why ES and bonds both went up. Okay. Uptick again. It was an okay uptick. What's the okay, 04 half is the place that they're going to try and fill. Hmm. Okay. Wow. So that was a huge iceberg at 31 and a half, and they just plowed right through that. It's a mad. Okay, but that's a strong offer. What they ticked back down at 127. 127 is a key level, isn't it? I forgot about that. Interesting though, the iceberg was at. Okay. These upticks are pretty crazy, guys. That downtick was a little weak. It could be deceptive here, though. You're going to want to range around 127 a lot. That's a very key level. Anybody that's bullish is going to want to keep treasuries below 127. So Dobie says good bids for ZB too. That was just some strong buying in the 10-year. Pretty range bound looking behavior at 127 even though. They tick up, but they didn't put up a strong bid and they showed no intention of moving further. Hmm. E-mini is unhappy now. So they haven't moved too much yet, but the E-mini is now starting to move below the VWAP, 2886.50, and below that could be pretty, they could start to get a little rowdy. Man, look at this go. If we had just kept that original one on, we would be well beyond. Right, 1, 2, 3. We'd be well beyond an 8-tick winner now. That tick into 01 is wild. I think this wants to fill. It's pretty close. I don't see why they wouldn't fill it now at this point. 04 half. Could be pullbacks still before then. Let's say here at 01, because we did take 438 into it. And when we would come back like that, you might see a big offer show up like that. That's the top for now. But 4,800 is not all that much. They seem to be coming back in on this pretty easily, though. So I think. I don't want to just hit into 31.5. Yeah, okay. See, we're in a range and I'm in on the bottom of the range. Socialism rises due to the great American economic growth myth, says Zero Hedge. I'll have to read that one. Hmm. Okay. Some pulling there again. It pulled a little bit, but they didn't get many buyers. 31.5 is starting to look like pretty good iceberging. I'm assuming that Donald Trump is done speaking. Oh, no, wait, he's still talking. A lot of people think quarter one GDP was 1 pp stronger because of tariffs. Okay, that's not one I've heard. Hmm. Well, 31.5 goes off her. I'm going to have to scratch this. Yeah. That bit is not incredibly encouraging. Okay. Hmm. They're playing games. That 18 3/4 at the 5 year is not super strong, though. Hmm. Nope. That's bad. I'll just sit. If it fills your limit to exit, shouldn't it go higher? They've got a ways yet to go to get that gap closed. That's for sure. I did the right thing getting out there. They weren't going to let me out on a limit order. I've seen that one happen to me a little bit too many times this past week. I'm not going to sit and tempt it. See? Only 374 went into my price, so that wouldn't have filled. And then at 30.5, there's 1267. That might not have filled either. I wasn't paying enough attention, but now this one's going down even more, so it could be -2. That wouldn't be very good, would it? You were pretty much last in the queue. Yeah, I think so. They've done that. They've done that to me a lot lately. Or rather, when I've had losses, that's what they've been doing. Is I want out, and I'm like patient about trying to see a place where they let me out, and they never give it to you. No offers being lifted either. Yeah. Well, I mean, they were pulling it a little bit to see if orders would go into it, and then it wouldn't. So they were only luring on that side. So it's unfortunate. I should have taken the +2. This is another thought that I've been having is that, if I get +2, was it +2? Oh, and it was actually +3. That I think I should move my stop to break even. I was planning on getting out of break even, but then it always kind of goes a little bit faster than I expect and can click out. Well, here at 30, there is an iceberg. Although that offer at 18.5 is not a positive thing. And although equities were looking a little scary, they never fell out. I could maybe try taking the trade before that. Yes. So I like to take it before the open in the cash indexes. Position in Q has been detrimental to my profits. Yeah. Well, I think that, my experience has been that you pretty much always have to assume that you're last. I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting there and I'm like 1,000, 1,200 in queue, and there's like 5,000 on top of me or something. So I'm looking for a fill at a specific area. And then when they tick down to me, all of that pulls and it turns out I'm at the back. That happens almost every time, You kind of almost have to assume that you're at the back because the algorithms are always going to be faster than you. But anyways, on the equity indexes, I really don't like trading that first 30 minutes of the equity indexes. So getting a small 8 to 16 tick move in the equity indexes ahead of the open, that happens a lot. And we have a trade that I've kind of been learning from somebody else here in chat that's not here yet. He might not show up today. But that's the trade. I'm kind of a little iffy on it. I think that the trade should be short, but the treasuries are not. The treasuries aren't confirming that at all. The treasuries came back a little bit too significantly. So the way that this traded back down kind of indicates to me locals, like everybody got in long, and then it didn't continue to fill the gap, and they all took profits, and that's what made it come back. I'm not seeing like a fundamental player trying to catch it anywhere down here. It's just everybody taking profits all the way back. It's unfortunate I didn't hold that first trade for +8, but I mean, that time it gave me some sell signals. If it had been a Wednesday, I would have definitely have kept it, but Mondays are usually slow and tricky. Mexican Foreign Minister Ebrard says he will meet with U.S. authorities today to define where along the U.S.-Mexico border asylum seekers will be returned. Yes, because asylum seekers are supposed to stay in Mexico now. Okay, well, they're getting back into thick prices in the 10-year. So let's see how they do. Do they just keep plowing through? Or are we going to see some support here at 29.5? Like Grady stated, ZB, ZN, ZF, not all profiles breaking out. Well, so, yeah. So, what Greg is saying is that the 5-year and the 10-year broke out to the upside, but the 30-year didn't come even close. The issue, though, is that the spread has flipped. So when it was here, the spread was flattening. And so because it's flattening, ZB is going to buy more and ZN is going to sell more. Or ZF. Can you see here? ZB was kind of high and the 5-year lagged significantly. But now the spread has reverted. They're now steepening. The 5-year really buys and the 30-year is going to lag. Your trades were good? Well, thank you. I think I should have. I have problems with exits, and I think that I made a reasonable decision there, but it could have been better. Zerf says got long here at 23 in ZB. Okay. Well, it's telling me right here, I guess. Oh, what's going on here? This isn't on. Okay. So it's actually giving me a contrary signal right now. Okay. So I've gotten filled in. It's going back and forth. So that tells me that I haven't necessarily gotten the optimal price. Anyways, the spread reverted a little bit here. But that means that they could have, room to keep going, potentially. Yeah. I guess the thing though is that like the thing that you don't want to see is like the 5-year ticks up 2 ticks, and then the the 10 and the 30 don't do anything. But also the big thing, one of the things that really screwed me up when I started was I was trying to read the order flow in the 30-year. Because remember, John Grady, he trades the 10-year and he uses the 30-year as a leading indicator. But if you trade the 30-year and you're trying to look for all of the clues in the order flow of the 30-year, or even in the 5-year, sometimes they can trick you out because the order flow that you might be seeing may look bearish when the reality is they're just selling it because that's the way that the spread is moving. And so the 10-year still ticks up and drags us up, even though the flow overall was negative in the 30-year. So you kind of got to be careful with that one. I would say when they moved, they all moved together with serious intention too. So that was definitely good for uptrend, but it's come back so much. You know, it's come back so much that it brings into serious question if there's going to be more upside, or if there's going to be another new high at least. Some people use the UV; it's too wimpy. UV is good if you want to catch really, really short winners. If you can handle that, UV is a little too crazy for me. I have it, but I barely even look at it, to be honest. So this is still looking like range bound. The 29.5 is kind of behaving like the bottom of a zipper. Yep, sure enough. Also very important with profiles, they wash out after a while. Well, it's curious, the spot in the profile at 29.5 there, isn't it? I didn't realize that they traded that much of it there when we touched it the first time. But they traded a lot at 127 even as well. So I think there's plenty of interest up above here. It might hold here, I don't know. I'm not particularly happy about my entry though. Well, that pulled really easily when the 5-year ticked up. See, I still think that the trade here in ES would have been short, but I probably would have moved by now. And this is like, well, I'm going to put that down there for now. I'll never critique anyone. We don't know the next print. Well, I think you can certainly, in retrospect, critique something, right? Not ahead though, for sure. That says to me that you've been around. The newer guys always want to always see you do something. I tell you what, it's kind of interesting, but it's really hard to watch somebody else trade. At least when it's live, it can be difficult because if you have a contrary position or you know something, you could be sitting there going like, "No, that's a terrible trade. What are you doing? Stop." Some people can't do it, you know. And traders, in general, we tend to be kind of contrarian. Okay. I'm not going to say that was an amazing uptick, but it was okay. There's Ace. Good morning. I was thinking about going short the E-mini, but I didn't see myself for a good price, and it hasn't really moved. So now I'm just kind of sitting here looking at it and thinking, should I have done it or not? Oh, did I not change the title page? Ah, you're right. I thought that I changed it, but it looks like it didn't take. Let's change that. Thank you very much for pointing that out, Lewis. I try to do that in my morning checklist, but sometimes it gets left out when I'm running a little behind. And I have a lot of breakfast food, so I had to prepare something. Okay, well, they ticked into 30.5. That definitely gives us a significant tick on the chart. Man, that 30-year is like just right there on the edge, but it's not holding. Anyone has a theory on who/what decides where ZB opens on Sunday evening? Um, so basically, let's see if I can put this in. No problem. So I was just explaining to IQ about how they determine where they open on Sunday. Is about an hour before the market opens, you can put liquidity on the market, and you can actually open things up and look. Like we saw that when we were trading the Bitcoin futures, right? And then, when we get to the top of the hour, wherever the bids and offers meet up is where they start the ticker at. Okay, so that time, quite a bit more liquidity put on the bid at 30 on the uptick. They hit back into it a little bit, 95 orders, but that didn't seem to bother it at all. And then 312 to tick up. So still kind of the range behavior, which is to say you get, 1,000 can make it tick up or down, but slightly bullish. And the 30-year in particular is just like right on the edge there. Like they want to buy and make a new high. They feel left out, but they know that they're going to need the the 5-year to push them. Another thing is that sell in the 5-year that pushed us down was a bit much. And what does this say? Okay. So my oscillators have pretty much all equalized. Oh, 45, 100 hit into 30.5. And that didn't go bid. Hmm. In equities, traders often use empirical formulas using other open indices to set a price, and of course, there's the opening auction after. So they're kind of an interesting tick at 30.5. Seems like a lot more than I would have expected to trade there at 30.5. I would expect there would be an iceberg as a take profit or attempt to keep it within the range, but that much is a lot. Kind of with the reserve here. I'm long 21, and I think towards the bit close they're going to squeeze some new shorts. Yeah, and then it goes offer again. Like the momentum is up, but somebody's fighting it. And we're like way too close to the equity open. Yeah, ZB doesn't want to do that higher high. But notice that they came down, the 30-year didn't change, didn't budge at all. They should be able to buy that up at 17 and 3/4, and they're not. No. So that's not good. And the time of day. And here again, we're in this like, oh, sorry. Um, I don't know. Well, 1555. I don't know. They got back there a little bit too easy. So this is the range. The thing I don't like about this is that I really should be in at 29.5. One tick off. I don't know if that's a huge deal, but I'm in the wrong spot, I think. See, okay. And that the 30-year ticked down, right? Yeah. The 5-year wants to take up. Or at least the level 2 looks like it. They're not buying it. Server already got out, huh? Hmm. Hmm. Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. I'm hesitant to think it will be risk on just because it seems like a logical place for equities to stall. I agree. Well, I'm still of the opinion that that jobs number was super bad, which means I'm probably wrong. All right. I figured it. Hmm. It says you got a long signal. Yeah, and that kind of jives with what I'm seeing overall. It doesn't look like the equities want to sell just yet. 1 minute to the open. Yeah, I think this was a bad trade. And I haven't even gotten an uptick on it. 29.5 is pulling. A few orders went, but it didn't affect things. Okay, here comes the open. Pretty slow start. A little bit of a sell. Okay. This is actually a lot bit of a sell. Yeah, it wasn't huge. 1,000. Hmm. Whoa, okay, so now there's an iceberg at 29.5. Hmm. Okay. Silly me. There's Aldia. Good morning. Well, so far it's been a little bit of a head fake in the ES, and now a tad higher. Nothing crazy. Restricting abortion is bad for business. Okay. I think when you're talking about a question of morality, that to say whether it's good or bad for business is probably the worst kind of argument you should be trying to make. All right, well, there's 28.5. I don't know, guys. Is this whole thing gonna reverse? Are they gonna go back to 26.5? Is the E-mini gonna buy again? Or, well, they might try and hit the overnight high and then bounce off of that. Hmm. Yeah, equities just so far buying. It looks pretty reasonably strong. Also, there was this liquidity all through this area. Now at 28 is the bottom of the liquidity. Now that can just mean, oh, everybody's filled, they should be happy. But there's also this 26 half. I mean, if they're really going to be risk on, then they're going to try and push the treasuries below 26 half. Right now, though, they're kind of telling me that you'd be better off trying to get the fill at 28. Okay. No. Uh, I always forget. Are you kidding me? 257 in line? Well, I feel like okay. Well, that's okay. But just the way that that all happened actually has me a little bit suspicious now, just because I felt a little bit too anxious to buy there because of that. Sometimes that impulse to click just kind of comes through before I can really think it through. See, I really want to buy it. Let's just say that I'm not in right now. That going offer that's so weak at 28 half, the way that it came down, it makes me want to buy it. But oh, I don't know. What I saw there in equities looked like a stop run, like that they were turning, at least temporarily. Now they're not getting much lower there. Maybe that pullback is already over because that came back up to buy pretty easily. Yeah. And then they kind of come back like, okay, we're done. Not just kidding. Level 2 is playing games here. You think for a second that maybe they're going to try and sell 28 and then 28 half pulse. No, they just forced them higher on that one. Just based purely on the E-mini, I'm looking at like either too early or wrong because the E-mini is still getting some strong trend. Treasuries aren't reacting to it. In fact, they're even kind of suggesting the other way. Okay. Well, that time the sellers made a little bit of progress. Okay. Mo's maybe a bit too much. I don't know. I think when you're in a range, like let's say that the range is to 2893 and they come back down and all of a sudden you think, oh, maybe something's happening and they want to sell that, you got to be suspicious, right? So bringing it down there because they're trying to entice people to do it. But look, it pulled back. See, new high even. Treasury's got an iceberg at 28. It was kind of the same thing on the upside. It was a little too enthusiastic about it when it's really still kind of stuck within range. Even though they did, it was range extension, but it wasn't like a breakout. We're going to tick back up here. Maybe, maybe not. I think we got some good things going for us at 28 to say it to go in, but so far it's not really working out, is it? Hmm. Down tick at 27.5 without much fanfare. And not a very strong offer either. Hmm. A lot of robot behavior here. It goes off or they don't immediately hit back into it. That's suspicious. Hmm. I don't know. Oh, come on, really? Well, I think I was too early on that one. That's a good hold at 27, potentially. Okay, that was a little bit more intentional of a sell in ES. They might have backed off there because of where treasuries were. I have mixed feelings about this one now. Um, I mean, obviously, down two, it was not the perfect spot. I shouldn't be panicking about -2. But the bigger issue that I have in my mind is that it continues to look like a buy to me, even though it's not working out. The E-mini is not behaving correctly for us to be getting a good long here, you know? I was curious that 27.5 went bid there. And 28 gonna go bid now? It definitely turned in cumulative delta. Yeah. Okay. There was a strong offer, followed that down to 28.94. Okay. They tried to take 27.5 and it's not holding. Okay, that time it did no. Oh, okay, there's 1,000. E-mini starting to sell a little bit more aggressively. It still doesn't hold. It's a little bit of volume there at 28.92 now. Still not holding us a good bid. Okay, that's a little better. This 28.92 has a pretty decent ledge. Should have looked at the profile before I made that trade because I was taking a little bit too far away from. I mean, it was there was a big 27 there, you know. That's going to be a vacuum. I should have known that there was a good chance they're going to get sucked into that. Okay. Well, they pushed through 28.92. Now they're to the open in the E-mini. Okay. So that whole impulse higher has now reverted back, and the cumulative delta in the E-mini seems to confirm it as well. I would think that the sellers would want to test the lower end of this now, but so far they're not. So far that open is still kind of holding. Good morning, Nicholas. Okay. Well, sellers are able to make that go offer, but they're not able to hold it in the E-mini, the open price, that is. Might need to give it a little bit of time, and they seem to really... Somebody seems to be fighting it. Hmm. It's a decent offer there at 17 too. Like if that offer at 17 pulls on an uptick, so we could have another really strong move up. Okay. A couple of stops at 28 that time actually. Was one order. One order stopped out at 28. Still didn't hold. Or still hasn't broken 28, 28.90.75, the open price. Sucks to be that guy. Okay. That time they hit it a little bit harder, but here, not a strong bid at 27.5. Hmm. So I think we got a real problem here with this big order in the 5-year. Big question as to whether or not it's going to pull, I think. Okay. Well, they finally were able to make it one tick below the open. That still didn't go, though. still, I don't know, the Treasury market still looks actually relatively quiet. Like, I think that most of these orders going through at 27.5 are just robots. $28.98. It's a lot of volume that's gone through there now. Oy. You can see that downtick in the 5-year. Dogs. You hear that dog? Oh man. Acting like the world is so sad. My life is so hard. I'm in my kennel in the morning. And nobody's got me out yet. Well, the E-mini has seen a little bit of a rise up in cumulative delta. It's not super strong, and I'd say that they haven't come through yet. A lot of that defense actually ended up being market orders buying. Um, so I think that it's still really uncertain if they go up or down here. And Treasuries, though, 27 is iceberging a little bit, but it's offer. This is just not action that I think you want to be in. I think that when it came back, I think I had a chance there to scratch it. I should have done that. Maybe if you still think it's bullish, maybe you could buy it at 27, but you're in a chop zone. Vietnam will impose higher penalties on Chinese goods transferred to the country and illegally relabeled as made in Vietnam for export to the U.S. to dodge tariff hikes. Ah. So there they were, the higher end of it in the E-mini, and pulled back a little bit. What's wrong laughing at? Uh, I just hate this sort of a thing. The problem with it is 26.5 is like the bottom here of the range, so it would be really foolish of me. Well, not foolish, but you really screwed up if you sell into that, you know? And yet they may yet downtick and just go right through. Oh, we do have some numbers in a minute, don't we? Let's look at it. I need to refresh this because it's not the right week. Okay, Monday, JOLTS job openings, we're looking for 7.5 million. 27 still going offer. But the level 2 is now pulling. And I would also say that the number is probably likely to be bad, just given the trend of all of the other economic news lately. Hmm. Well, now the E-mini is pushing back on those highs again, and yet the Treasury has ticked up one. A little bit decoupled. Just again indicative of a chop zone that you don't necessarily want to be in. Okay, so there's the number. It is for 7.45 versus an expected 7.5. So less than expected by about 500,000. I don't. It's not a huge deal. How big historically is that? That's pretty close to what it is. So and E-mini is kind of indicating here so far. Well, not indicating, but there you have a real risk of a lower high because you're starting to um, get some delta fighting it, trying to sell it. And if they really do sell, then you could get a lower high and it could turn. Or E-mini could, or Treasuries could gap down here and stop me out. Yeah. Okay, so they're pulling up to it. So now if you get a new high, then you have a real delta mismatch because there was not as much buying on that one. I suppose that's not on you, I suppose that would make sense because the initial one was off of the open, right? And the open is always going to be a strong move. Hmm. I've been in this too long. 26 now. Hmm. Hmm. That 26 half bid is acting a little unusual. It seems like they're trying to hold it. I wouldn't read too much into that because the kind of area that we're at, but for now that looks positive. Hmm. How will the Fed take the decision to cut or not cut rates based on jobs reports, and how could that impact treasuries? Sure. Well, so you got to remember that unemployment, high or low unemployment, is a something that you tend to see towards the end of the cycle. Um, so automatically, when you start to have really low unemployment, you have to start thinking about, okay, are things potentially overheating? Are they overextending? Are we starting to see things that could turn things around and start to cause the recessionary spiral, right? But then when they come out and the market was already very concerned, and then you have a jobs number that basically just confirms everything that people were worried about, especially the fact that the two previous jobs numbers were downward revisions by 20%. that significantly increases the chances that in the next two Fed meetings that they're going to reduce interest rates by one step. Yeah. Stupid me. Did it? Wait a second. No, it's okay. It's okay. I thought for a second that it gave me -5, and I'm like, nothing traded at 25.5. Anyways, I think that it's almost certain that they're going to lower rates now at this point. Unless something really good happens between now and then, you know? And it's not a for sure thing that they'll do it in June, although I think there's a pretty good chance that they'll do it here in June. But the question with our treasuries is how well is that move priced in? I think that the one rate cut may already be sufficiently priced into treasuries, right? So if we're really going to go, like if we're going to make a new yearly high on treasuries, I would guess that at that point the market is thinking that there is going to be a recession. You know what I mean? I'm still kind of favoring higher here in treasuries because I think that there's that gap to fill. But I don't know. The other thing is that while I am seeing buying in the E-mini, it's not it's not enough to, well, they haven't broken the overnight high. It's not you know, it could still flip on them quickly. But I think on that one, I think that I was thinking there was a trend reversal that wasn't there. But then you have tariffs that bring treasuries down if talks are good or help the rally if they're in effect. Okay, so if we made a deal with China, I think that would be really positive and would really move treasuries down. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if that's. I mean, they have a meeting with the problem. So there's another problem there with that, right? Because this now would not be the first time that we were looking forward towards a big meeting with the Chinese. And the thing is if you have a big meeting with the Chinese, you're not going to go into it. They're not going to go into it and come out and say, "Hey, that meeting was absolutely terrible," and we just, they never say that, right? They always want to try and play it off as like it's positive. And then afterwards, then it's like, oh, nothing actually happened from it. So, of course, in the short term, it presents opportunities, but in the longer, are we going to go into a recession or not? I think you almost have to ignore that one. I think that you kind of have to assume that the trade war is going to continue for a while. Um, yeah, I don't know. This move in the equities just doesn't seem, just I don't think is justified personally. I need to be able to look further back. I wish that I had taken +8 on the first one and been able to just quit. Or maybe gone short. I don't know. I'm a little surprised at the way this has come back. It's kind of like, you'll see positive like this at 26. That to me looks really positive. Like, I want to buy that. Well, let's just wait and see what it does. 28.96. I have to really go back. That actually is a higher above top end of a range that was pretty key at the beginning of the month. See, here they're doing it to me again. They're not filling me. They're trying to make me impulsive into buying 26.5. Even though there's really no reason for it to be. Although, it's been 10 minutes now since 8 o'clock. Okay. Well, there's iceberging on both sides of this now at 26.5. Significant selling in the E-mini. It's holding it so far, though. Actually went bid for a moment. Hmm. So ES came down there quite a bit, and then it bought back quite a bit. It's quite up and down here. Actually getting a little trickle of selling here. Alligator says pretty hard levels at the moment, probably some pullback. I see like a little mini head and shoulders forming on the E-mini actually. It's a little sketchy though, because there's definitely some support underneath of it. But if it broke that neck, like if it got below the 94 with volume, then it could certainly get cray gray. Gap down that I mentioned is 76.11 to 75.34 in NQ. Yes, did make another. Well, no, they didn't make a new high, did they? 28.97. Mm. Mm. UK Prime Minister candidate Gove says I have a proper plan to deliver Brexit. I don't know. There's a lot of trade happening here at 26, man. Okay, so there's some new highs. It's not really causing the treasuries to really sell, is it? I don't know, man. At the moment, it seems like the E-mini is just really happy that the last week is over. But it was like, what was it? Thing happened the 30th or the 31st. That was actually the low. Now they've been nothing but higher. How is that? How are they going up the 3rd through the 6th? I don't know. This whole move in the E-mini just, I think, is incredibly suspicious, guys. See, you are getting fills at 26. They're all small orders. Like, it's seriously, it's like 1 and 2 lots hitting S at 26. And I've only come down in the queue by like 700 from those fills. Binance DEX listings are the new IEO. Now everyone will rush to invest in whatever is already listed on the DEX. By the way, where's Bitcoin right now? 79.60. They're having a really hard time with that 8K level. Is that a big yawn with tears from Uzi? Man, it's super slow. It's be really weird for us to be down in this area for this long and then not have a move. Look, there's definitely more buying here. Okay, 26 half goes bid. You're sleepy. Well, I'd say this is putting us to sleep. I'm mad that I didn't get filled. That would have been a great fill, right? I wonder if there's going to be an iceberg at 26 half now. He's just got a short signal. I'm seeing it. Like, I can see the volume there come in. Nope, I wouldn't do it because I already have a limit order. That's funny. We're in the reversal time period too. Hmm. Take a nap, Uzi. Go back to bed. It's only Monday. You can't be that tired if it's already Monday. That's not good. Hmm. That's not the way I expected that one to go. Well, I wanted to just buy into it. Now it's like, fuck. Been doing this for three orders now. I can't get filled on limit. I got to bed way too late. Hmm. I always get messed up on Saturday night, man. I don't know. I had a hard time last night because, uh, we watched a movie, and then after that, I like fell asleep. Then we had dinner, and then I came back, and it was hard to go to sleep. Because that Sunday nap can mess you up. Fine. I don't know, guys. I'm super upset that I didn't get my original fill. I should have just bought 26 half. It was 26 half, right? Yeah. I should have just market bought 26 half. It was too cautious. I waited too long. Now I buy 27 half. It's not the right price. But you ditch it. What are the chances you get 27, or if you do get 27, that it's going down again? And the E-mini's got another little bit of a buy. Although the cumulative delta is lower. Looks like there was only a point in that move. So Ace definitely didn't like that little move up. I don't know. This one's kind of getting interesting because it really looks to me like the E-mini should be selling, especially when you look at the cumulative delta. But I've noticed that the E-mini can have a tendency to ignore that more than other instruments. If they really want to buy, you know. Wouldn't take much to push them over the edge here, though. Well, there's the neck right there, 28.95. Not seeing the volume here, so it's unclear. Treasuries are not ticking up yet. The time period is right. 16 3/4. That the 5-year really moved up when it moved. We're just gonna see another like big whoosh, whoosh all the way up again. I suppose we could if the E-mini really starts to sell. Right now, though, and they broke one level, didn't cause much. There's another level at 28.94. No confirmation on that one, though. Okay. All right. I see a little bit of fighting now. Oh, my chair's making that sound. It's annoying. Sorry about that. Greg was long in the CP, but he took it off, huh? I tell you, man, trading ZB probably super frustrating today because he had to move up, but it wasn't a very strong one, and it came back so quickly. And now it's sitting back here. The thing is it's been sitting here for so long. You got a good chance of another long happening, Equity indexes don't want to cooperate, though. You break even. That's good. Overall, I'd say, it is a Monday. So, a little bit, even though we had that strong move at the beginning, we may still go and fill that gap. We may yet. ES is annoying. Right, it is. Well, the problem that I have with the E-mini, when I'm in the treasuries, I can tell. Like, we could tell when I was in that thing, okay, I'm in the wrong spot in a chop zone. Doesn't look good. I shouldn't have let that go -4 against me. That shouldn't happen. But, it happened. Anyways, but I can tell. In the E-mini, though, it's chop all the time everywhere anyways, so how do you know? You know what I mean? ES steps of 2,500 per side. It was better read with 10k per side years ago. Was they really having, well, not 10k at any one level, right? Maybe see where you're going though with that. Beware bill auctions. Do we have a bill auction today? Well, we have some this week, don't we? Yeah, we do. German and, yeah, US. And tomorrow there's PPI, which could also be a good reason for them to be slow today. It's 3 and 6 months. Yeah. Well, usually when I get into this position, you had the reversal time period. It kind of did look to me like that the E-mini reversed, but it's not selling super crazy yet. And I've often found that it takes until that 9 o'clock, 9:30 London close before they really do a thing. Like, it's usually I'm long gone by the time they do anything. The action in the E-mini still looks slightly bearish to me. Like, the short-term trend is bearish. They'd have to really push strong, though, to get below. I don't know. It's just too slow right now to really do anything. And this whole thing is like, I had a spot. It was a good spot. And then, I don't know. This is where I feel like you're all on the wrong side of it over and over again. And you're getting the wrong prices over and over again, you know? Maybe a century number problem. Yeah. I get what he's saying, that there's 2,900 up there. I don't know, but the thing is you can't get filled at 26, and then when you actually finally decide to buy into it, it stops. You know what I mean? And now you're in the wrong spot of the range again. I'm just not doing very good, guys. I'm not. I don't feel like I have very good self-control today. Yeah. You're saying that there's probably some guys that really want to see it go to 2,900 and they're not going to stop until it gets there. Okay, so there's an okay take by the 5 year, but the 10 year is not quite coming along yet. 17 was where were before, where we had that problem with that big order. They hit into it. I think that that's going to stay. But if they hit into it and clear it, that would be really good. Uh, See, for this to really get going, they have to break with volume below 28.94. Okay, so a little bit pulled at 17 in the 5 year. Okay, strong take. Well, okay, I kind of saw that possibility, but that was a lot stronger than I expected. See, E-mini gonna fall apart here. That was a little much. Now I'm now I'm get sitting here going, okay, so a bunch of people just impulse uh, bought into 28 and 28 half, and we've only actually made a tick off of this. There's always a possibility of flipping there at that spot. The E-mini still hasn't broken. Yeah, it gave us MFE of 2. 28 half did go bid, but they didn't trade into 29. 17's not. That's interesting. But it's what 16 and 3/4 has a decent stack behind it. Like they are actually building liquidity behind us as we go. Okay. It's kind of weird just sitting here like on the edge of something happening and then it kind of does, and that's a little disappointing, and now it's still like on the edge of maybe they're gonna go higher. Or maybe E-mini is gonna fall here finally. It's still kind of quiet. Okay, there's an okay uptick. Deadline to declare for UK Conservative leadership is 90 minutes away. Top Iranian diplomat, US cannot, quote unquote, expect to stay safe. Okay. This is where I just go back and question, like, what are you thinking when you say stuff like that? Miles, you land on President Trump saying the Fed made a big mistake by raising interest rates. Everyone knows that Trump is all bark and no bite. The market literally doesn't care what he says anymore. Does it matter what the market says? He was right. They shouldn't have raised interest rates in December. Was that the right decision for the Federal Reserve to make based on their strategy? I'm not so sure. But would we have been better off if they had not raised in December? Yes. Because now they're going to have to reduce them. That's not a good thing. Reducing interest rates isn't, I mean, yeah, it helps the markets, sure. But it's not good for confidence, right? Because once they start lowering them, then all of a sudden everybody says, there's a reason for me to be concerned. I should sell. E-mini still not going for the sell. He says so choppy. Maybe you short at 28.95.75. I don't know, man. I guess it is a little high. Kind of stepping in the way of the trend, though. 27.5 goes offer. A weak offer, but it goes offer. And 27 is pulling. And the E-mini is threatening new highs again. Like it's falling asleep. Could not have been more wrong. And it's risk on. They seem. I know that it's risk on, but the way that the E-mini is ticking up is not positive, in my opinion. It kind of looks to me like trend following and forced buying, and not like people are buying based on conviction of underlying fundamentals. And that's something that anything negative come into to scare them out of their position. You could have another really big flush lower, and it's like what we had before, back at the beginning of May. Well, maybe it's really more to the end of April, when we're like at 29.60. There's risks out there and nobody's protected from them. But for us scalping, it's going to turn in this 97 area and crush everyone. See, because every time that they make the new highs, it's on less cumulative delta. The cumulative delta eventually catches up and goes higher, but the price is leading the cumulative delta significantly. And you got to wonder, with the treasuries coming up as much as they did, and the little stop run that we had at 28.5. Nice winner on the R2K earlier, but volume is really drying up. Well, my first trade was great, but I don't know, man. I don't feel like I'm trading very well right now. I feel like I am very much running into summer action that I have a very poor read on, because I've had some losers there, and then I had a good trade and I missed it, you know? I had a good trade and I missed it, and probably should have been long 26 out 28 half, you know? And then run. And maybe they come back and maybe they don't, you know? This whole thing of, is there going to be another move? That one's always questionable because there was some stops there, so that can be a reversal. And if they continue higher, then it could mean that we could get some really good trend, but you don't know. In fact, I'd actually say that depending on the situation, the probability is actually against you. I think the probability right now is probably 50-50. But you see, we're fighting the E-mini. We're fighting the E-mini. I'm in the wrong position in the E-mini. And I just have taken bad trades today, I think. Well, I should be going short, basically. I caught the long. I thought that maybe the long would continue, and it hasn't. We got a little bit of a long, and then they've been selling it the whole time. The market disagrees with me on something pretty fundamental here. And maybe I'm right, but that's not the sort of thing that on my time frame I can trade based off of. And the other thing is that the favorable ticks that I have gotten are like actually within range. Like I got +2. That's within range. Anything less than 3 is frankly, could be just luck. Yes, new highs. There's all sorts of levels here now, all the way up to 29. Okay. The other issue that I'm having, I mean, like that action right there at 27, like when it ticks up and I start seeing the level 2 changing around a lot and stuff, um, that's usually a pretty good sign. It means that tick affected people's positions and they were rearranging things. It means that somebody thinks that little move there in the E-mini was maybe a reversal. Wouldn't call it high probability, but just slightly good sign. So I keep saying, oh, it looks good, but I'm not getting rewarded for it, really, am I? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, so they get more positive action, pulling some orders, hitting it, stacking, reaction to a move down in the E-mini. All three of them doing it. I'll only take that back. It's the FUT 30 year isn't exactly quite ready to go. Now 27.5 is really pulling. It'll be funny if 27.5 goes bid again without having to trade very much to take it. Russian experts will visit Turkey on June 28th for S-400 work. Okay. Weird headline. Now level 2 flipping again. So still playing games, not able to make 27.5 go bid. A decent offer put on it at 27. So it's like good, 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 and then all of a sudden it's terrible, just like so quickly, you know? Could be short 27.5 and be happy. E-mini still looks like it might be topping. I don't know, man. A lot of shuffling there. Actually, a decent amount of buying there, 27. Just now. One of the bigger buy lots that we've had in a while, actually. They didn't actually touch 2,900, did they? There's all these orders up there looking for it to happen. Well, if I could be so lucky. If he continues trading like this, though, I think that I may be done trading the 10-year for this month. Because I don't have I don't have a very good edge in this kind of action, do I? The sad thing is that there's, who knows, if I leave and maybe later this afternoon some risk off comes off, or that the E-mini takes profits and then the treasuries do go up there and go to where I wanted, you know? Like, that's one of the things I find really frustrating lately is that it does tend to go to the key levels that I want, but not while I'm trading it. Hmm. So stack 26 half, nothing. Stack almost to 3,000 now. One person bought 27. The 6J looks up too. Fuck. And now flip. Now this one's 3 and this one's 2. Of course. Fucking believe that shit. See, it looks like it could do it until it goes down, and it goes all at once. One guy is doing this. There's no edge in it for me. At least not right now. I don't understand it. ES drops, but ZN drops. It's so bizarre, right? For all I know, that was somebody that was long with us from 26 half just puked or something. Now, the good news is that was stops, so maybe they reverse and go long a little bit again now. At least for a tick or two. Well, there's one tick that looks like that they're going to get two. Notice also that the big order at 27 pulled down. I find it hard to have an edge at the point of control. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, the you know what? I think that my problem here Well, I think that my problem is twofold. Is in one instance there are time periods where I don't really have an edge because there's not a whole lot of trade and big guys can just move it wherever they want. But then on the other side, I don't think that I'm doing a very good job at controlling my emotions. Like, I wanted to buy it at 26. I saw a good signal. I couldn't get filled. It went bid 26 half. I tried to get filled there. I couldn't get filled. And I eventually ended up, actually, I think it was 26 half that I wanted to buy originally. Anyways, and then I FOMO'd into 27 half. And it stopped there for a while. I actually did get a run higher, but that flipped. It was like a head fake, you know? Mm, iceberging at 26 half. So, anyways, I guess what I'm saying is that what got me into this trade was not necessarily a good set of things, even if it worked out. You know, I'm just not seeing. And then I'm just in the wrong direction. Greg says, "Hold on." I don't know, man. There's the iceberg at 26 half. Okay, they go bid. They go bid through that. Oh, nobody hits 27 yet. Yeah, no, it's. I left 300 on the table, but that's the thing is like I tend to do good when there's trend, right? I don't tend to do very well on the reversions. Um, so I feel like that we came towards the end of the trend, and now we're in the reversion area where I don't do very well. Oh, Greg is trying to. I appreciate it, Greg, but I just know I shouldn't lose 3 times in a row. So the problem is I might have edge overall, but I don't have edge in this specific spot, and I'm trying to trade it. You know what I mean? And or I'm just trying to take the wrong side of the trade. That's one of the things that I find really frustrating is that I can say, what journal software do you use? So I'm using Jigsaw Journalytics is how I looked at things. So that's how I was able to go through. I pulled all of my trades out and did some statistical analysis of it in Excel to figure out that I should probably just take the +8. Also was that I should probably take the +2 if I could trade multiple contracts. But I would not take very many losses for me to take me down if I had to trade, if I was trading 2 contracts. But anyways, the thing that I find that can be really frustrating about order flow is that we're going through all of this and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, this thing is good, this thing is good. We may get some opportunity up, and then all of a sudden, it's like in 2 ticks, the whole thing falls apart on you really, really quickly, right? I bet you that if I go back and I watch it today, and I look during that period and I say, okay, I know that it's going to move down. Now, can I see things that actually are going to make it move down? And then I'll be saying, ah, yes, this is doing this and it's doing this. And why didn't I see this? And why didn't I see this? The direction, like your bias on the overall move, affects your vision of the order flow so significantly. There's not really a way around it, especially when it is really, really slow and range bound. And yeah, I suppose I should be saying if it's getting slow and range bound, that we're probably more likely to tick down. Well, I've waited this long. and I'm getting good upticks. Let's see if we can get out of this at a reasonable spot. And we ticked through some spots that had a decent amount offered at them, and I think it's pretty likely to go through 27.5. I need to get going soon though. Anyways, I just know historically that I do poorly in the summer. And if we're not going to continue to have crazy volatility, because today there was a good trade at the beginning, I think that was because of the gap. Otherwise, and because Donald Trump was speaking, I guess at the time, I guess that plays into it too. Until we get like more news to really push them up higher, this might not be a very good trade for me. Even if I had been short, I think that it would be hard. I wouldn't have gotten paid a whole lot if I had been short through all of this. It looks like you can make a lot, but I know that based on the spots that I took and everything, I might only be up like 2 or 3. Well, 27.5 didn't go bid again. It's like they know where I'm at and they're not going to let me get away. No, Seth, you must sell us your order first. Then we will go up and hit the spot that you wanted the whole time. Doge is really coming back. They're on its order flow. Not order flow, it's value. ETC looks like at support. Oops, wrong one. LTC. The other thing I'll find frustrating is you get to a spot like what just happened. It looks like you're getting some good pressure and then it stops. So they're creating pressure artificially to try and get you to buy so that they can. I would not have gotten filled at my break even. Okay, so it goes off for 2,000 on the offer again, which is a little bit much for that particular spot in context. Mm-mm. 29 is above is a low volume node, yeah. this one again is like um the London closed trade too. They never fucking give it to me. I should be walking out the door now, guys. But I want to get filled. It's okay. Okay, that little move up in the E-mini was a little weird. 1 in 3 year inflation expectations to fall to 2.5% in May, down from 2.6% last month. It was a very strange impulse out of nowhere in ES. Stick says he was expecting ES to do that. It was just kind of weird because it was the kind of volume that you would expect to see on the news, but it probably wasn't actually news. It was like the beginnings of a news rush, but then there's not actually anything to it. E-mini goes offer again. I still feel that even though that the action in ES is bullish, it's not an incredibly organized uptrend. Jeez. You just really want me to take -2 on this trade, don't you, Phil? They're able to stack 1,000 on both sides of it, but good grief. I feel frozen. I don't want to sell 26.5, but I really want out of this. Not that I think that it's going to go down. I think that it's going to go up. I want to go, you know? And the frustrating thing is it started out good for me. Just one little thing. I should have taken the one, I think. Five years seems to still have a lot of liquidity on top of us. Wants to go. Come on. Okay, I'm going to walk away from this for a second. We'll be right back. You won't be a worse trader for taking this loss, nor a better one for being able to scratch it if it ticks higher. You're right. You're absolutely right, Lucas. I have a hard time when I think it's going to do something. And I think that it's going to move up. I have a hard time getting out of it, you know? Anyways, the problem is not that. The problem is that here at this one, 30 shouldn't have happened, essentially. Once we came into well, I don't know. It's a hard call, but after we failed 30, these two trades I think were bad trades. So that's kind of my problem. And this one I probably should have taken. I could have let it go, but I don't think that it was a bad thing to have taken that one. Anyways, again, the issue is, where's your edge? You know? And I shouldn't be taking trades in places where I don't have edge. And I take a trade, and then it's not until I've been in it for a long time that I realize I don't have an edge here. I have a hard time getting out of it. So yeah, but that's okay today. It's Monday. I don't know though if it continues like this for the rest of this week, then I'm just going to only do the E-mini trades for a while, or do them on Sim and Xeon. I had the ZP at 18 over an hour ago, and it's still 18. I wouldn't be surprised if after 9:30 that it flips around. You tend to get this thing where they want to hold it where it's at until the London close, and then when the London traders go away, it can go a different direction. Anyways, yeah, so that was it. I'm just frustrated with myself. That's all. I need to get over it. It really is the problem, right? And maybe the answer to that is to go on to the summer break now at this point. I can't let go of this idea that it's not over. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's over. I think that this buying in the E-mini is dumb. Anyways, I should go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay profitable.